So the hornet's nest that is North Korea has been agitated and stirred again, with Japan, China and USA all hailing its capacity to fire off a ballistic missile with attached nuclear device. Is the threat real? Or is this just another escalation of war, engineered by the deep state to legitimize a profitable conflict, an invasion of a country with the intention to exploit its resources and move in with an economic debt slavery system? If this is true, and there is the possibility for a nuclear exchange, is there a higher force that will protect us from our own unhinged, self-destructive tendencies? It's well documented that UFO activity has been regularly recorded around nuclear facilities, especially military bases harbouring nuclear weapons. Many accounts have detailed how the missiles have been deactivated, or in the case of launch missiles, been destroyed altogether. Accounts like these are reflected across the world. The following are some of the most well known. US Maelstrom Air Force Base, Montana. Captain Robert Salla recounts his personal experience, 16th of March 1967. At Maelstrom Air Force Base housed Minuteman nuclear missiles. Captain Salas is quoted as saying, "The US Air Force is lying about the national security implications of unidentified aerial objects at nuclear bases, and we can prove it. I was on duty when an object came over and hovered directly over the site. The missiles shot down 10 Minuteman missiles, and the same thing happened at another site a week later. There's a strong interest in our missiles by these objects. Wherever they come from, I personally think they're not from planet Earth." United Kingdom, Bentwaters Military Base near Ipswich. 37 years ago, the former military facility was the tactical base of the 81st Tactical Fighter Wing, United States Air Force in Europe. It was here that Colonel Charles Hatt witnessed a UFO fire beams of light into the base. He subsequently heard that aliens had landed within the nuclear silo. He went on to say, "I believe the security services of both the United States and the United Kingdom have attempted, both then and now, to subvert the significance of what occurred at RAF Bentwaters by the use of well-practiced methods of disinformation." Vandenberg Air Force Base, California. This particular case involves the presence of a UFO directly during a missile firing. Dramatically, the UFO's interference led to the destruction of the ballistic missile. Although it was never officially confirmed, some report it was carrying a live nuclear warhead into space for test purposes. Professor Jacobs, a well-respected university lecturer, back in the 1960s, Jacobs served in the US Air Force as an officer in charge of filming ballistic missile tests.
We watched that stage burn out, we watched the second stage burn out, we watched the third stage burn out, and into the frame came something else. It flew into the frame like this, and it shot a beam of light at the warhead, which is represented by my thumb here. Now, remember, all this stuff is flying at several thousand miles an hour. So this thing fires a beam of light at the warhead, hits it, and then this thing flies up like this. Meanwhile, we're all going like this, fires another beam of light, goes around like this, we're going like this, fires another beam of light, goes down like this, fires another beam of light, and then flies out the way it came in. And the warhead tumbles out of space. Now, I saw that. I don't give a goddamn what anybody else says about it. I saw that on film.
His commanding officer advised him never to speak of the incident ever again. There are numerous other examples of UFOs interfering with nuclear armaments. Such actions could provide comfort and relief to some that if a nuclear weapon was ever fired in hostility, otherworldly or transdimensional beings, purely out of love and concern, may prevent ourselves from destroying each other and the planet. We are too fragile and important for this to be allowed to happen. J. Robert Oppenheimer. There is evidence that nuclear capabilities have not merely only haunted the modern world. J. Robert Oppenheimer, who is credited as being the father of the first modern atomic bomb, with the highly covert Manhattan Project. He was interviewed about his experiences in creating a weapon of mass destruction. In this clip, he discusses the situation and people's reaction surrounding the first nuclear test.
We knew the world would not be the same Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
As he alluded to in the interview, Oppenheimer was a student of the Vedas. He was under the firm belief that historically, their invention wasn't the first time an atomic bomb had been detonated on Earth. Written in the Mahabharata, one of the two major Sanskrit texts of Veda, the following quotes could confirm Oppenheimer's belief. A single projectile charged with all the power in the universe, an incandescent column of smoke, and flame as bright as 10,000 suns, rose in all its splendour. It was an unknown weapon, an iron thunderbolt, gigantic messenger of death, which reduced to ashes an entire race. The corpses were so burned as to be unrecognisable. Their hair and nails fell out. Pottery broke, without any apparent cause, and the birds turned white. After a few hours, all the foodstuffs were infected. To escape from this fire, the soldiers threw themselves into the river. So Vedic historical accounts can potentially be confirmed. The origins of Veda stem from modern-day land of India. Harappa, 10 miles west of Jodhpur, Rajasthan, scientists discovered a heavy layer of radioactive ash over 3 square miles. The Indian government ended up sealing off the entire area. Within this restricted area, they uncovered an entire ancient city. Some scientists report the city was decimated by an atomic blast. The explosion was calculated to have been a similar strength to the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. But can we go back even further? In the African country of Gabon, in Okolo, strange uranium deposits were found with unusual properties that pointed towards a nuclear explosion, which is dated to have occurred some 1.7 billion years ago. Some claim this is naturally occurring. Others theorize that this is the result of a native intelligent population, or even, maybe, ET presence. Ancient atomic destructive power isn't only potentially confined to Earth. Dr. John Brandenburg, a plasma physicist consultant at Morningstar Applied Physics and part-time instructor of astronomy, physics, and mathematics at Madison College, he noticed certain unusual elements found within the Martian atmosphere. Xenon 129, uranium, and thorium. Their presence is only seen as the result of a previous nuclear explosion, which adds to the explosive claim. Atomic powers may be harnessed by civilisations on Mars. It's highly likely civilisations on Earth and beyond have all been seduced by the destructive force of atomic power. Does Mars stand as a warning to us? Continuing nuclear proliferation could mean disaster, not only for humanity, but the whole planetary biosphere. Are more advanced civilisations looking at us with concern, ready to step in at any point to prevent the very worst, to save us from ourselves? Let's hope for our sake they are.